Broheems. I'm kind of a Florida guy, right? And there's a few little sneaky things we do in Florida that apply just about everywhere, and especially out here, right on Gunnersville, dude. And one of them is a little sneaky chatterbait retrieve, dude. And we use it kind of early spring and then right now, late summer. And it's one of those things where you can have your buddy in the back of the boat. He's sitting there reeling, doing the standard doodle daddle kind of thing with the old chatterdonker, and he ain't catching dick, and you're lighting them on fire. So I want to show you exactly how to do this, how to set it up, and what the key points are that make it so different from just standard fishing a chatterbait. So hit that like and subscribe button. If you like the old chatterdonker and you want to dangle it a little different, that's a lot of words, bro. This video is gonna help you out. I got me a lot of chatterbaits, dude. And actually the first thing I'll tell you is store them in one of these guys. This is actually one of those Bass Mafia bud bags. But what's this technique? What's this trick? You know what, you can do it with a chatterbait mini. That's actually my preferred tactic. You can do it with a jackhammer, an OG chatterbait. And what we call this is worming a chatterbait. And it's exactly like it sounds. We're basically treating that chatterbait a lot more like a drag style bait, something that we're kind of working through around and over cover versus just kind of reeling around, like seeing what'll come up and snatch at it. The biggest key to this, I think, is one, your reel cadence, and then 2, speed, and then 3, what you're interacting that chatterbait with. And let's break down each one of those. Reel cadence is really important because you're not actually reeling this bait. It's not the traditional kind of cast and reel kind of deal. What you're actually doing is using that reel to pick up line. It's a lot like worm fishing or jig fishing because you're side swiping this chatterbait. You're dragging it, right? You're using that rod tip, using that rod and side dragging, and then you reel up that slack and then go again. Basically, you're trying to just tick that cover, tick those rocks, tick that grass. And really, I think Mark Daniels, like the old crankbait master, kind of described it when he was talking about actually dragging a crankbait or rodding a crankbait. He'd use his rod tip to actually feel the bottom and feel the cover that crankbait was bouncing off of. That's exactly what you want to do with this chatterbait. You're using that blade, you're using that little jig head on the blade to kind of feel your way through whatever's down there, whether it's grass, whether it's stumps, whatever kind of cover, even open water in certain situations. You're just trying to get this nice, slow kind of, I don't know, like lethargic cadence with a pause every once in a while. Just imagine it like we talked about, like worm fishing. It's worm fishing a crankbait. Now, the other little variation to this that you can do is you can actually hair jig it. And what I mean by that is instead of using the rod completely to drag it, it's almost like stroking a jig, dude. So you'll kind of get it tensioned, you'll get some kind of side drags, and then you just go to town with the reel. 5 or 6, 6 or 7, like super fast, like reels. And I'm doing this with like a 7-2-1, like a faster speed reel. Go super fast, and then you kill it, but you don't give it any slack line. It's like, what do you call that? Tight lining. It's almost like tight lining a chatterbait. So the fast reels, you kill it, the line is still semi-taut, it's gonna travel down just a little bit, and then you're gonna go to dragging again, or you're gonna give it another few fast retrieves. It adds to that presentation and gives it a little bit of a reaction just in case you have a fish following it. Because what I've found is the fish really follow when you do this retrieve, dude. I've had a lot of fish that'll swipe at it again, and you can feel them kind of getting behind it, sucking the water off the bait, and then finally on that third try, it's like, you get them, dude. Interacting with cover, and this is probably the most important part. And really, you want this bait banging into stuff or ticking stuff. I like to say kissing because it's kind of romantic, right? So I want this chatterbait to kiss the cover. And in a lot of situations, it's strandy grass, little clumps of grass, maybe it's little like stumps sticking off the bottom, or if you got like a barren lake, there's no grass, nothing, no vegetation, you're really gonna wanna kind of tick that bottom, right? That hard bottom, whether it's pebbles, gravel, rock, things along those lines. Tick it as you're going. So you're just dragging. It's almost like when you're dragging a worm and you hit like a little stalk of grass, you hit a little like rock, you hit a little piece of shell, and it just bumps off of it. You wanna continue that trajectory, not get it hung if possible, but just have it bump off and continue on. And usually that's when you get your bites, like right when you hit that piece of cover or right after. Setup is kind of gonna vary depending on the presentation you're doing. I've showed you guys my setup for my chatterbait mini. That's the one that'll pick up first usually, and then I move on to like a jackhammer or a bigger chatterbait. But that chatterbait mini is probably my favorite for doing this technique, and I actually run it on 15-pound fluorocarbon, a 7-speed reel, and then a medium action Halo Rave rod. And the reason I do that is that rod has like a lot of parabolic bend to it. It's kind of a softer, it's actually like a lower quality rod, right? So So the graphite's a little softer. It's almost like a glass rod, but still a graphite rod. Because a lot of times these fish, they're not whacking it, right? They're not hitting it angry, hungry like they do in spring. They're actually just sucking it in. They'll be behind it, they'll suck it in, and the rod just loads up. It reminds me a lot of a crankbait bite. On a jackhammer, I'll run a 7.2 KS2 with like 17-pound fluorocarbon. In both situations, I'm running a 1/2 ounce, or if it's that jackhammer, I'll run up to like a 5/8. I'll run a heavier one because I'm fishing deeper grass beds, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 feet. But since I'm fishing it so slow, I can get down that deep and kind of tick through that cover. And you can really play around with your different trailers. I like running, like on that Chatterbait Mini, either that Komodo Junior or a little spunk shad. I've even run my buddy, Ryan at Cast Baits. I've run his little worm on there. I want something downsized, right? Something compact that just quivers. When I go up to the jackhammer, I'll run something bigger, right? Because I'm looking for a bigger presentation. I'll run a full-size Komodo, maybe like a bigger spunk shad, maybe even some kind of kicker craw if I'm looking to give that bait like a little more lift to stay above the grass. It's definitely something they don't see a lot of, right? Because it's unique. It fuses kind of like jig fishing, worm fishing, and the old chatterdonker, dude. So if you like doing those kinds of things, it's perfect because your skill set's already set up. And dude, there's no better feeling that chatterbait blade's going, and then it just disappears. You don't feel anything, and you reel down and your whole freaking rod loads up. It's a sick bite, dude. And it's fun because it works on anything. Whether you have grass, whether you have stumps, whether you have gravel, you can do it in any of those situations. I'll put links to all this stuff down at Tackle Warehouse and Monster Bass for you guys to check out. And as usual, if you guys got any tweaks to this kind of little technique and pattern, drop it down in the comments box. I've learned a lot from you guys, and I appreciate all the 2 cents you throw down there because I take a lot away from it, dude. But it's hot, it's beautiful. I'm on the water. My ass is gonna go back fishing, dude. I will catch up with you homies later.